is my guy, Bijan.
Now
What
we're talking about talent.
talent! The
Now
man
we
is
talking about
talented.
talent.
He can run. He can do a lot of things. Okay? He could probably run through an F-150 unharmed. That's how talented this boy is. And god damn it, I would like to have him. I don't know why y'all wouldn't. I get we have Algier. Okay? I like the little nigga. I like Algier. He cool. But like, why can't we have Bijan? And Cordell knees about to give out. The cartilage in Cordell knees is going out. Okay, he ain't gonna last too much longer. He doing too much. So why can't we just have Bijan? What is the problem? What's wrong with y'all?
Cordell on borrowed time at this point, man. Ain't no way that dude's still going the way he's going at this pace and at his age. Because Jesus, y'all are
The
running that dude
cartilage,
into the ground.
exactly, the new cartilage just going out.
He look. I've taken my fair share of lumps over the past couple months when it comes to Bijan Robinson. I kind of sort of feel like that. I kind of sort of feel like that meme that Desi Banks had where he got beat up and he got into his boy's car and he had like the black eye with the torn wife beater and he's looking at his elbow and scratches everywhere. I feel like that when it comes to being on Twitter against with this Falcons fan base fighting for Bijan Robinson. Not just the Falcons fan base, but people in general. Like it's just this team. They really want to go BPA, right? And for them, most teams do. Honestly, they want to put themselves in a position where most teams want to build best player available. Drafting for need, why people feel that you have to do that every single draft, especially when we're in the top 10, is not always necessary, and sometimes that can set you behind as a franchise. Just ask the Cleveland Browns, who've been trying to draft the right quarterback for 15 years because they've been drafting for need for so long. They've been drafting for Brady Quinn, or go back further than that, Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Brandon Wheaton, Baker Mayfield. Trying to draft for needs at the same position year after year after year sometimes does not always work. Sometimes you have to go a different route. People want to force feed an edge rusher to the Falcons. We get it. They need to improve on the defensive line. But me personally, if the fourth best edge rusher is there at 8, I don't want to take him because he's not a top 10 overall pick, in my opinion. You go back to last year, same scenario. They were on the clock at 8. Kayvon Thibodeau was gone. The next best edge rusher at that point was Jermaine Johnson, who they passed on, who ended up falling all the way down to the 20s. There's a reason why. Because he wasn't a top 10 overall prospect. That just happens. I rather do that. I rather go BPA and take the best talent on the board at that particular point than take a guy like, I don't know, Nolan Smith. Nothing against Nolan Smith. It's going to be a pretty solid prospect at the next level. But you're talking about taking a guy at 8 for the sake of saying we fulfilled the position. That's how you reach. That's how you reach. That's how you end up taking guys like Vic Beasley. Do we need to go down that road again? I don't think we need to go down that road again.
Oh my gosh. So I've always been kind of the guy that's like, stay away from running backs in the first round, no matter what. It's not worth it. Top 10 pick, no. You can get a better running back in the later rounds. I always use the example of I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was the year the Cowboys took Zeke, and I was like, my homeboy is a Cowboys fan. I was like, you guys could have got Jalen Ramsey, and I think there was another running back in that draft that got drafted like in the 3rd or 4th round that was productive. And I was like, you could have had Jalen Ramsey and a productive running back as opposed to just having Zeke Elliott, who was good for like 2 years. And I was like, just stay away from running backs in the first round.
Zeke a bad
find
pick?
a good one. I don't know. I'm not saying he was a bad pick. I'm just saying they could have had Jalen Ramsey. I wish I had my computer up because my internet's down. But it was Jalen Ramsey they could have had, And then in like the third or fourth round, there was another running back that was like very productive that went in that same. I don't know if you can look it up, mate, and go with that. But the more I hear about this Bijan Robinson, it's kind of like, okay, I get why you wouldn't want to take a running back in the first round, but if that running back is the best college running back prospect since Adrian Peterson, and for my money, Adrian Peterson is like top 3 running back ever, and I might change my mind. It's like, do I want to have like people? I know we're old enough to remember, but there's some people that don't really know. Like Adrian Peterson came into the league and was like the best running back in the NFL, like day one. And if you can get that at 8, I would understand if the team is like, yeah, I want that. I want that. We'll build around that.
He's being compared in the eyes of some analysts to LaDainian Tomlinson.
Give me that. Give me
How do you say no?
Give me that. I'm not passing LaDainian Tomlinson.
Bruh.
LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, I'm not passing that up. I'm sorry.
Like, how do you say no?
Give me that.
Like that's the thing. Especially because
with that coach.
And a lot of that plays into that part where if this is a team that was orchestrating Kansas City Chiefs like offensive scheme, then I wouldn't even be having this conversation because Bijan would not be a fit. But this is a team that their foundation on offense is the run game. They're going to run the football. So of course it makes sense for me to have that type of prospect here. Now, when it comes to Bijan Robinson, like, I mean, he's being compared to Adrian Peterson, or the best running back since Adrian Peterson. He's been compared to LaDainian Tomlinson in terms of an impact he can have on your offense. For a team that's been told for like 3 years that they don't have talent, how do you just sit here and say, oh, we're too good for that? Like,
bruh. Hello? That's what I'm like. How can we just pass up on him? And let's say Ritter don't work out with his pass game. What are they going to do? Feed the ball to Bijan, just like they're doing with Cordell. Like, come on.
You can look at it this way, Lethal. Let's just say that they hypothetically do take Bijan, right? And let's say this year doesn't work out for Ritter. You mean to tell me that if you get aggressive next year and you take a guy like Caleb Williams, that you can't slot Caleb Williams in, and now you have a Caleb Williams, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson nucleus on offense?
Me gusta.
Like,
Bijan makes the most sense. He makes
it
the most sense
does
with Arthur Smith coming from like I'm not saying he made Derrick Henry, but he built his offense around Derrick Henry's skill set. And from what I've heard and from what I've seen, Bijan is a great runner, and he's just as good at pass protection and catching the ball. So it's like, you're telling me I can get, LaDainian Tomlinson, like, say less. Sign me up. I want that.
Give me.
Even to a lesser effect, he's been said that he can have a Christian McCaffrey type impact on an offense. And even a healthy Christian McCaffrey is like, he's damn good. We're saying no to
it?
Give me.
Come on, man. Like, and again, when it comes to the position, I get it. It doesn't have a long shelf life. But if you look at a lot of these examples, you look at a lot of these situations, and you brought up Zeke. Zeke didn't have a Tony Pollard early in his career. It was literally just him. So, of course, when it comes to year 7 in Dallas, he's hit a certain wall. I get it. He's never had that. Even when you go to a guy like Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, Dalvin Cook is going to turn 28. Or if he hasn't turned 28 already, I would not be surprised if we start to see a step back in terms of production from Dalvin Cook. But a lot of it is mainly stemmed from the fact that he has really only been him in Minnesota the last few years. Like, these teams, I think that plays a considerable part. When you take a running back high, it's one thing to take a running back high, but if you're literally taking a running back high and you're giving him 300 carries, 250, 300 carries a season, of course he's going to hit a wall. And you're not giving much of a backup behind him, of course he's going to hit a wall. Of course, he's going to have a short shelf life. I get it. Like,
Well,
Marcus, you're a Colts fan. You guys better get some help behind Jonathan Taylor, or he's not.
Sure.
He's not going to be the Jonathan Taylor you want for 10 years. Okay,
he's in the last year of his contract. So,
I mean,
it might be time. Like, if they move on from him, I would understand it because it's like, you don't want to put so much money into a running back. But that can be the same thing with Robinson, where it's like, you're taking a position super high that doesn't really last that long. Like if you draft a quarterback, obviously they're usually there for like 10 years. Offensive line, defense are usually last a little bit longer than running backs. But say you get Robinson, and now you have the best running back in the league for 4 years. Like you have him for 4 years. You do what you can, and then you can do what the 49ers did or what the Panthers did with McCaffrey, where it's like, hey man, we're not here to win. We're not. It didn't work out, and I don't know what they got from McCaffrey, but you could get something from him.
I feel like fans are dipping into that pool of complacency when it comes to sitting here saying we have Tyler Algier, we're fine. That's how you stay at a certain level of mediocrity in this league, in my opinion, because you're looking at the running back room right now. You have a 5th round running back that just ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie. You got a 32-year-old wide receiver who literally just started playing running back full-time 2 years ago. And then you got an undrafted free agent in Caleb Huntley who just tore his Achilles last year. And you guys are literally looking at the running back room and saying, we're good.
We're okay. It's fine. It's fine. No,
you're going to treat Algier the same way you treated Devontae Freeman a few years ago. After about 3 or 4 years, you're going to say, all right, bro, you good. You can go. That's exactly what's going to happen. I see it already. And not to mention when it comes to Cordero played 13 games last year. And in each of the last 2 years, Cordero has slowed down in the second half of the season. Like he hit a wall in each of the last 2 years. He's 32, guys. He's 32, and he's on the last year of his deal.
That's what I said. He don't got the Meg Thee Stallion knees no more.
Right. He ain't got that much time, man. And y'all want to give him another 150, 200 carries? Okay. All right.
Man, put that man back at wide receiver, man. Get him out of there.
But see, that's the flexibility that having a guy like Bijan does. You can take him off the field. You can say, hey, you know what, Cordero, you're going to be our gadget play guy. You're going to be if we make it to the postseason, you're going to be our reliever at running back in the postseason. Like imagine if you're able to run the ball a healthy amount of carries with Algier and Bijan, and then in the fourth quarter, when defenses are battered and bruised, you bring in Cordero Patterson to close the deal for you. Oh, man, please. I don't see how you can sit here and say no to that.
I'm not saying no to LT, man. That's I loved LT as growing up. I loved his style of play. Like he's obviously like an all-timer. Like you can make a case that he's the greatest running back ever. So if you have the option and the ability to take that, you have to take that.
You could.
You have to.
And
Arthur Smith is not passing that.
I think it's coincidental because I don't know if you guys have noticed as well, but a lot of coaches, a lot of scouts, a lot of even current NFL players have come out and said that Bijan is the best player in the draft, regardless of position. And there's a consensus that he's a top 5 talent in the draft, regardless of position. How do you say no?
Well, they're saying no, because most of them want one of 2 people in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
1, Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Player 2, Nolan Smith. That is why they want to say no.
I've seen a lot of people asking for the Gonzalez kid.